Hey everyone, can you hear me? Drop it in the chat. Woo! Tosin can hear me. I know she can. All right, there we go. Here they come. Awesome. All right, it's good to see you guys again. Ready for my last session. I've had so much fun with you guys. I'm not ready for WorkflowCon to end, but we got some more time together. Don't worry. We still don't forget. We got the WorkflowCon bash at the end of the day. It's gonna be fun. DJ Frank on the sticks. So, but before we get to that, let's get into today's topic. Today we're going to talk about automation, and I'm excited to talk about automation because I know it's a big problem from Seth, but I've been seeing it a lot in the comments that people want to learn more about automation. They want to learn how to automate some of those time-consuming processes in their firm. Let's see actually. So drop it in the chat. In terms of automation, like, are there still processes that you think you can automate in your firm that maybe are taking up time or distracting you from what you really need or want to do? Do you think you could better implement automation in your firm? Okay, sending emails to clients. I know that's a big one, and we're going to talk about that one today. What are some of the processes that you guys want to automate? Throw that in there too, actually. I'm starting to see onboarding. Let's see. It's hard to keep up. There's so many comments. There's onboarding again. Okay, yeah, onboarding is a big one, right? We can actually spend some time talking about that, actually. Um, Frequently asked questions. Onboarding is a big problem. I didn't realize that. This one's coming up a lot. Chasing down clients for information, updating employees, billing. Yeah, here's the thing. I love talking about automation with accounting firms because there's so much opportunity in accounting to automate, because you guys do a lot of the same repetitive work over and over again. And inside that repetitive work, so like monthly bookkeeping, uh, payroll, quarterly work, annual work, you do a lot of the same stuff. And inside that work, there's also just a lot of little processes that are time consuming that can be automated. So the accounting industry is ripe for automation. There's so much stuff you can automate. There's so much content out there about that. And we're going to talk about some of those. So let me actually share my presentation and get this started. Share my screen. Boop. Slideshow. Okay. Let's get a thumbs up. Can you guys, or just let me know in the chat, can you see my screen? Just want to confirm. Okay, perfect. I'm getting the thumbs ups. Awesome. So as we talked about, we're going to talk about how to automate admin work with workflow software. So just so you know, just to preference this, are going to be getting into Financial Sense for a big portion of this. It's kind of going to be walking you through some of the automation features you have in Financial Sense. So this is going to be more of a little bit of a demo style presentation. Just want to give you guys a heads up before that. So let's go to the next slide. So I had this slide built in, but I would hope by now you guys know who I am, if you've been in any of the other sessions. But just in case, my name is Shahram Zarshenas. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Financial Sense. And we help accounting firms manage and automate their workflows, track the status of work. At the end of the day, just help you guys get work done. But before we built Financial Sense, we interviewed hundreds of firms to understand their biggest workflow challenges and how they were overcoming them and how they could better overcome those challenges. We used that information to release Financial Sense in 2020, so we're a little less than 4 years old. And since then, we've had a tremendous amount of success. We serve well over 1,000 firms. But we use a lot of the things we learned in those days. And today, we're still learning new things working with all these firms every single day to create a lot of this content we're sharing with you guys. Okay, next slide. So what are we going to talk about today? First, we're going to talk about the benefits of automation. We're going to talk about what are some of the most time-consuming admin processes and tasks, and then how you can automate those with Financial Sense. So as we mentioned, it's going to be a short presentation and a lot of Financial Sense demo time. So you guys are actually going to get in and see the product and what it can do. And make sure you drop in questions in the Q&A. After each automation piece I cover, I'm going to try to go back to the questions and answer them for you guys. Okay, so let's first get into the benefits of automation. Why do you want to automate things in your firm, right? So there's a lot of big benefits with automation, but I kind of distilled it down to like 3 or 4 big major benefits I see. First, the obvious, it saves you time. Like we talked about, and it saves you a lot of time, but like we talked about, as an accounting firm, you do a lot of repetitive work. You do monthly bookkeeping, payroll, quarterly, annual work, a lot of the same things for a lot of the same different clients over and over again. And inside that work, there's a lot of little processes that you do every single week, every single month, every single day, right? Which means, and like the thing about accounting, it's very like streamlined. Like there's a very specific way to do certain things, which means there's a lot of room for automation. You can automate those processes. And if you can automate those processes across all your clients, you can save a lot of time. And when you save a lot of time, you can focus on a lot of the stuff that really matters, right? Um, Another big one is it improves work quality. Let's face it, we're all human, we're not perfect. We all make mistakes. Even as a firm owner, if you're a one-man shop, you're doing a lot of the same work over and over again. Maybe one day you're tired, right? Or you just make a simple mistake. By automating these processes with technology, you're taking out the human error factor. You're letting technology do the work for you. Now, technology is never perfect. It does glitch. It makes mistakes sometimes, but not as much as us humans, right? So by automating the processes, you're removing that human error component so you can better maintain work quality. You have less mistakes, less rework. And especially if it's not even just you, right? Let's say you're growing and you're hiring new team members that are less experienced than you. If the more processes you automate with technology, the less mistakes they're going to make when they come in because someone less experienced is not touching those processes for you. So it like Doreen is saying, it promotes consistency. And the more consistent your client work is, the more happy your clients are going to be. And the happier your clients are going to be, the longer they're going to stay, the more they're going to refer new business, which is the number one way to get new business as a firm, the faster your firm's going to grow. Work quality, consistency is very important. And automation helps you maintain that, right? The third is it increases firm profitability. So if you can automate a lot of these processes, you can save a lot of time and ensure consistency. You might be able, let's say you can free up 50% of your time. That time opens up. I mean, yes, you can use it to travel, spend time with your family, but if you're in growth mode, you can use that to take on more clients. That means you can take on twice as many clients. If you can do that, bring in all that new revenue without increasing your biggest expense, which is payroll, right? You're going to have a lot more profitability. So like, if it's not just you, maybe you have 4 team members, you automate a lot of the processes, you're saving each of them 10 hours a week. That's time they can use to focus on new clients that are coming in straight to the bottom line. That money can be used to reinvest back into the firm for growth, right? You can use it for marketing to bring more clients in. You can use it to implement more technology, whatever it may be. Or you could just take it home at the end of the day and, reward yourself for doing a great job. So it increases firm profitability. And that's a big one, right? And we're seeing that a lot right now. I'm not even going to touch on this topic, but with like artificial intelligence, everything that's going on right now, there's even more opportunity for automation in receiving these benefits. But at the end of the day, if you can save time to focus on your business, right, or to focus on what you love to do and need to do, what's critical for growth, you can improve work quality and you can improve profitability to have more money to reinvest back in the business. You're going to set your firm up for scale. That's a good foundation for scaling your firm. And I love what Jennifer says, delivering higher quality work in less time. See, that's great. I mean, imagine that. You're working smarter, not harder, right? I'm curious, are there any other benefits you guys think that I'm missing here? Like, drop it in the chat. What are some other benefits you see with automation? Anyone? Anyone got any other ideas? Less missed deadlines. Yeah, and that's a big one, right? Like we're gonna talk about that. Like when you're automating things, it's again plays that human error effect. You may not miss something. Less stress, right? Staying up to date with tech, sanity, clarity. I love that. Less stress. There's more of that again. Getting stuff out of our brains. Yeah, there's so many big benefits to automation. So let's get into the next slide. What are some of the most time-consuming admin tasks in an accounting firm? And these are the ones I put. There's a lot of them. Don't get me wrong, but these are the ones I put in the presentation. These are the ones we see a lot of firms struggle with when we talk to them. So recreating the same work every single week, every single quarter, every single month, every single year. I mean, you guys do a lot of repetitive work, and this goes back to what one of y'all was saying about automating prevents deadlines from being missed. It's easy to forget if you're in spreadsheets, right? To reduplicate this spreadsheet or this process for this client. And what happens if you forget to do it? It gets missed. You miss a client deadline, client's upset. You may lose that client, like we talked about, right? Chasing down clients for information. This is a big one. I mean, this is one of the biggest pain points we solve, is having to chase down your clients every single week or month for information or a response can be really time consuming, right? Not just to ask them to send you something, but then to follow up with them again and again and remember to do it after they continuously don't send you what you need after the first, second, or third response. You and your team are spending a lot of time doing that. And you can automate that in a secure and simple way. We'll talk about that. Updating team members on work, right? So it's important to keep your team in the loop. You know, whether you're in person or on Slack, when you finish work, remembering to have to let your team know, hey, this is ready for you to begin. You can automate those notifications. You don't want to have to remember to do that. You forget, they never get it done, or they forget after you remind them. Clients as well. Maybe you need to, when work is completed, you need to let the client know, update them on something. There's so many different things that you can automate in terms of client and team notifications. Setting up client work in folders. Client signs a proposal, right? They are new a client. You have to go into all your different systems, add in all their client information. You have to create their folders. You have to create their work. It's kind of that client onboarding from an internal perspective, right? You can automate a lot of that. So one, you don't forget to set up the client, but two, you don't have to spend all that time or hire an admin to do all that for you. That can be all automated across your systems. And we're going to show you how to do that. Updating client information across different systems. This ties into the what we were just talking about, but keeping everything in sync. You know, when you get a new client, you want to add them into your CRM, you want to add them to your workflow tool, you want to add them to your newsletter, you want to add them to your bookkeeping system, you want to add them to your to whatever systems you have. You want to be able to automate all that so it just happens automatically. So you don't have to spend a lot of time doing that. So these are the big ones we're going to cover. I'm now going to take you guys into Financial Sense. Let me see. I'm going to go to the next slide. And I'm going to show you how we can automate a lot of these things. I'm actually going to go back to this screen. So let's first talk about recreating the same work every week, every month, every quarter, every year. How can you automate that? So I'm going to share, my screen. And again, if you guys have questions, drop it in the Q&A. Let me see. There actually seems to be some questions right now. Wow, there's already a lot of questions. Does Financial Sense integrate with a lot of apps? Yes, we do. And I'll talk about that later. How do you find a good admin person? I don't know. I've had a lot of luck just going to job sites. Actually, I just recently hired a virtual assistant, and I asked my community. I asked people I know if they knew anyone. There's a lot of good accounting communities out there, Facebook groups. Definitely ask people where they're finding their admins, because you can find bad ones. If you want to find a good one, I just would lean on people that have admins that they like. They may know someone as well that is good. This is all, yes, everything's going to be recorded. You guys will get all the recordings. As usually, we're told to map out the processes. Before you enter. My favorite tool for mapping out stuff is Lucid Charts. I think, yeah, if you haven't used Lucid Charts, definitely check it out. Would you recommend running an automation for a process that is already created to compare and contrast? I always recommend split testing, definitely. Someone asked, how did I come up with Financial Sense originally? That's a really good question. So this is a little bit of a tangent, but I do want to talk about this because I love telling this story. So Financial Sense originally was not a workflow tool. It was a dashboard to help small business owners make sense out of their financials, right? That's where financial sense comes from, the name, helping business owners make sense out of their financials, financial sense. No one wanted it at the time when we built it. And then through that, we started working with accounting firms and we listened to what are their problems. And that's when we learned about workflow. And that's how we came up with financial sense, just by listening to you guys, which is why to this day, our biggest core value is customer obsession, obsessing over how we can better solve these problems for you guys. And that drives everything we do across the company, from marketing, from sales, from CS to our product roadmap. It's part of our DNA. Okay, there's some more questions, but I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the product. So let me share my screen. Infinity loop. Let's share this screen. Okay. So real quick before I jump to the automation, let me quick 2-minute of what Financial Sense is if you don't know about us. Financial Sense is a workflow tool built specifically for accounting and bookkeeping firms. What we really do is we help firms get work done. How do we do that? We do that by giving you visibility so you know where work stands, who's working on what, so nothing slips through the cracks. We do that by keeping your firm organized, by creating a central hub for your firm where all your team collaboration, client documents and information, work documents and information all live in one place. So your team has everything they need to get their work done. And 3, we do that with automation, automating a lot of these processes so you can focus on actually doing the work. And that's what we're going to be really hitting on today. So when you first log into Financial Sense in terms of visibility, this is where you can see everything going on in your firm, who's working on what, the status of work, the progress to being completed, when it is due, all the team collaboration, everything you need to know. Bird's eye view, so nothing slips through the cracks, and you can run reporting and everything. But we're not going to talk that much about that. Let's get into the automation. So the first thing we talked about was recreating the same work every week, every month, every day, every quarter, every year. You guys have a lot of recurring work. So in a workflow tool, you need the work to recur, and not just recur the right way, right? So when you create work in our system, so let's create we call work projects, right? And I know that can be a little confusing because projects are one-off typically in the accounting industry, but all work, recurring and one-off special projects is called projects in Financial Sense. So let's create a monthly bookkeeping project or work from one of our templates. So we're going to use our monthly bookkeeping template for one of our clients. So when you're creating work in Financial Sense, you can title it. What client is it for? So we'll say Airbnb. And then you can give it a due date, right? So let's say it's due on, the 31st of the month. And then you can set the work to recur, right? So this is where that automation comes in. So you can have it recur. There's default recurrences every day, every week, every 2 weeks, every month, every quarter, every 6 months, every 12 months, right? So it's really easy to have that recur. And the way the work recurs in our system is, so like, let's say it's it's due on October 31st, right? We got here. It will create the next project or work monthly bookkeeping project for November when this work is completed. So if I complete this work tomorrow before the due date, it's going to create November's work. Or it will create the work when this work becomes overdue. So if you don't complete the work on time and it's now November 1st, it's going to create the work for November. So you can start working on it even though this work isn't done yet, and your team can. And that's how work recurs in our system. Now, there's also custom recurrences. Custom recurrences where you can, for those special work that recurs on really weird frequencies. So you could say, I want it to recur every 2 months, right, on the 10th. Or maybe you want it to recur on the second Friday of every month, or maybe you want it to recur weekly every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So you also can really have all those special types of recurrences. So we get really detailed so you can recur your work on any frequency that you choose. So that's a little bit of how we have that automation built into Financial Sense. So you don't have to spend time creating that work every week, every month, every year, but you also don't have to worry about forgetting to create that work so it doesn't slip through the cracks. So That's the first piece. I'm going to go back to questions. Let's see. Is it possible to import data into Financial Sense from CSC? Yes, you can import your client data. You can copy and paste your templates in. But if you are migrating from another system, Tatiana, our team can actually migrate that data for you as well. Let's see, Financial Sense has folders. Can they be virtual, like on my computer, locally, or in the cloud? That's a great question. We don't have a virtual, like they are virtual, that all the folders are in the cloud. We don't have like a local sync yet, but that is something we're working on in the future. Looking forward to learning about upcoming apps we'll be integrated with. We'll talk about that. Okay. All right, so let's go on to the next thing. Chasing down clients for information. This is probably the biggest one, right? So every single like month, week, or quarter, you have to ask your clients the same questions over and over again. They never respond. You never get the information. And this is the main reason we see a lot of firms why they have a backlog of past due work, because they can't get the information they need from their clients. Real quick, drop it in the chat. Do you guys suffer from this? Is it a pain to get information from your clients? Such a pain. This is probably one of the biggest pain points that we see. So I'm going to talk to you about how you can automate this. This is probably one of the most favorite features we have in Financial Sense outside of just general workflow, which is why people use Financial Sense. So let's go into this work, monthly bookkeeping for our client, Adeline Collins. Inside the work, like we talked about, you have your processes for how to complete the work, and you have all the information you need, all the apps, and videos, SOPs. You can see, the team communication, documents, emails, conversations with clients. Like we talked about, thing about Financial Sense is we want to store everything related to the work on the work. So when your team comes in, they can have everything they need to get their work done. But here's the thing, it's not just work-related information. It's not just like the apps you're using that they need to access, or the processes or the team communication. It's also, like we talked about, the client information that you need the client to send you every period of time. So inside the projects, we have something called client tasks. And this is how we automate client data collection and help you get those responses faster. So client tasks here. So for monthly bookkeeping, maybe every month we request the same information. We ask them to upload their bank statements. We ask them to upload their credit card statements. And maybe you have a one-off thing, right? Like you want them to sign a document because you can request e-signatures in Financial Sense. So you can create that request list for the client. You can give it due dates. You can add a description. You can have it upload to Financial Sense or to another app by changing the upload destination. But the thing in here is you want to create that request list. What do you need from the client? In this case, every single month for monthly bookkeeping. Then you set up the automation. So you go over here to manage notifications and you say, okay, I want to send this request list to my client on the 1st of the month automatically. So you can send it now, or you can schedule it to send in the future. Then you can say, I want to remind, this is important, I want to automatically remind my client, let's say every 4 days until they get it done. So now they're going to get this request list on the 1st, and it's going to follow up with them automatically until they complete the tasks. And when they complete the tasks, the reminders will stop. So it's automating the request and the follow-ups. And here's the really cool thing. Remember how we talked about how work can recur? So this is a monthly bookkeeping project that recurs every month. So now, when this work recurs for November, it's going to automatically send the request list on November. This is January, but like it would realistically be October, right? Now it's going to send it on November 1st automatically without you having to turn it on. It happens, it's like on autopilot. And then December 1st, will send the request and follow up until they get it done. January, February, March, you never have to do anything. You're going to come into your work and it's going to be weird because the client documents are just magically going to be there without you having to do anything. And it's important because we want to automate it from start to finish. So that's how you can automate it. But you're probably wondering, what does the client see, right? And my client doesn't want to use another portal. Like, it's impossible to get them to sign up, create a password, and do all that. Well, here's the thing. We created a process that makes it super simple for the client, and we get really good adoption because of this, but it's also encrypted and secure. So when this request is sent to the client, your client gets something like this. They get an email that looks like the subject line. It has your firm's name, ABC Bookkeeping, again, firm name, and then it has the client's name plus who requested the information from your firm. So they can trust it. They can see what work it's for, what period of time. It's for June, and they can see the request list. And if it had due dates, the due dates would show here. So they can easily see the items you need from them. And what's cool is you can also send text notifications. So they get it via email and text message. So it's top of mind because sometimes they miss their emails. So it helps you get those responses faster. But let's talk about the second challenge, right? The second challenge is getting your apps to use another portal, or creating a username or password, or downloading an app. So we use secure magic link technology to make it very simple for your clients to use. So they don't have to create a password or username, and clients love it. So how this works and how we keep it secure is when they click this button, it takes them into the portal. Now, if this is their first time using it, it's going to ask them to verify their identity. So it's going to send them, actually, you guys didn't. I'm sharing this. Did you guys? I don't think you guys saw the email. Actually, all right. Let me share this. So this is what the email looks like for the client, right? So they can see the firm name, they can see what you're requesting from them, right? And then they can see the project name and all the items that I was talking about. Very simple and straightforward. When they click this button, it then takes them to the portal where they get sent a code to verify their identity. So I'm going to pull that now. So I got sent a code. Hold on one second. Try that again. Oop. Okay. Sorry, had my inbox redesign of my new virtual assistant. I'm still trying to figure where everything is. Okay. All right, so hold on. Okay, I can't find the email right now, but so basically they get sent they'll get sent a verification code. Actually, you know what? Actually, I found the verification. It was sent to my phone, my mistake. So 67008. Okay. They type in the code. They don't have to create a username. They don't have to create a password, right? Now they're in the portal. It's secured and encrypted. Clients love it because they always forget their passwords. And then when they can't remember their passwords, what happens? They just move on and they never send you the information. So it's got to be easy to use. And that's why we get really good client adoption. But the clients can then come in, they can ask you questions. They can upload the bank statements that you need, right? And this is what's really cool is we also remind them when they upload it. So I'm uploading like a big folder right here. When it's uploaded, we remind them to mark the task completed. Because sometimes they don't do that. And then they can also sign the document. So if you want them to sign the document, they can sign that here. And then once all these tasks are completed, the reminders stop. And they can also go to the dashboard to see all their other active requests going on right now, or their past completed requests. So it's very simple. It's very client friendly. And once they upload the documents, we go back. Oh, I wasn't sharing. I'm sorry, guys. So this is what it looks like, right? They can then see the request items. They can see the documents that you uploaded. They can upload the documents for you. They can ask you questions here or on the actual task. Right? And then they can mark all the tasks completed as they do them. And then what happens is if we go back to Financial Sense, okay, I'm getting better at sharing the right tabs. And we click on Client Tasks. You as the accountant will see the document that they uploaded. You can see the question they have. Respond to them, and then communicate with your client. And now as your team is working, they'll be able to see that document in the conversations with the client. So it automates the client. And not only does it save you the time and automate that client data collection and allow them to securely send you information, but again, it organizes it on the work. It's not in some file somewhere. It's not in some email. It's not in some text message or Slack channel. It's all on the work. So whether you need to go back and look at the work from a few months ago and see what happened when it was uploaded by the client with the timestamps, right? Everything you need to know is right here where the work is actually happening. So that's one of our more popular features on automation. So I'm going to go back to the chat. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I see now in the chat where you guys couldn't see everything. I couldn't see the chat, but we got there. I think we got there. So let's go to Q&A on when we respond to a comment on the task or in the client chat. How and when? Okay, great question. So if you respond to a comment to a client, it's going to send them an email notification and let them know immediately, hey, there's a message for them in the secure portal. Same thing. If the client responds to a message or they upload a document, you immediately get notified in the app and via email that this has happened. And you can turn those off if you want. But you get notified. It's a two-way notification system to keep everyone in the loop. WISP compliant. Carol, I'm not exactly sure on that term. That's going to be a question for my technical CTO co-founder. I would ask the support team to get that information for you, but I'm not familiar with that term. When we respond to a comment on a task, how do they know? Yep. Do you have an Adobe subscription for the new? Yes, you have to have an Adobe subscription for the e-signature because we integrate with Adobe. When documents are submitted to the client request, does it automatically port the files to the file section? Yes. So when a document is uploaded by the client, so I'll show you guys. There's a section clients folders called client tasks, and they're automatically saved here, so you can see all the past requests and documents related for that request. How long does it house the data or history? We keep the data forever. It never disappears, so you have a full audit trail. We won't be able to see the documents before we download it. So a lot of people have been asking us, like, you want to be able to view the documents without downloading it. That is something we're hoping to release by the end of this year. The client is linked to the project job. So the next So someone had a really good question. Is the link in the email the only way for the client to access the portal? And no, it's not. So let me log out of my portal. So I'm going to share this. So you can actually get a link. It's this URL up here, and you can pull this from the client's profile, but it's a link. So you can put this link in your email signature. You can put it as a button on your site. You can have your clients save it as a bookmark tab like I have. And it's basically where your clients can access the portal on demand. So how it works, right? There's still no username or password, but you have all their emails in our system. So they come in here and type in their email address, and then it sends them a secure link. So it's kind of the same, but it allows them to access it on demand so they don't have to go find those emails. And then when they go to their inbox, let me refresh, they're going to get an email that looks like this. I'm getting better at sharing my tab. Here's the link to your secure portal, and then you can access the portal, right? And then boom. So they can access it now on demand, which is really powerful, but they still don't have to have a username or password. Okay. Yes, we do integrate with QBO. Yes, clients can have multiple organizations. Actually, if you see right, oh wait, hold on. I didn't even show you. So if you see right here, the client can have multiple organizations. And if they do, what happens, they'll see all the requests in the same portal, but it'll show what organization it's for, like underneath like Financial Sense LLC or Holding Co., right? So they can have multiple organizations. Okay, so in terms of, I know the portal is encrypted and secure. For the IRS requirements, I would check with our team and confirm with them. I'm not the technical co-founder, so I don't want to step out of line and say that, but we haven't had any issues with it. Okay. Okay, so let's go into the next thing because we got 10 minutes here. Updating team members and clients on work. So let's go back to front. I'm going to share this. I'm sharing the right tab, make sure. So let's go back to this work. So let's talk about keeping team members in the loop, right? So there's a few ways we do this, right? Automatically. So you see here how this process changes hands from George to me. So if George is in this process and he completes this task, right? And this is automatic. You don't have to set a dependency up or anything. When George completes this, I need to refresh my screen. Hold on. When George completes this, it's automatically going to notify me that George has completed his task and I can now begin my work. So that's built in across the whole app automatically. So it keeps your team in the loop and they get notified via email and in the app that they can now start that work or that task. I can start creating financial reports inside Financial Sense. So that's something we build in to keep your team in the loop. Now, also you notice like we have these automations for the status of the work. Right now it's in process. But when this is completed, it automatically puts the work to in review. So you can have the statuses automatically change as well. Also, if you click in here, let's talk about keeping your clients in the loop now. So inside the task, you have something called task automations. This is where you can set like the status of the work to change once the task is completed, right? But you can also set it when this task is completed, send a customized email, which we have here, which is update clients on 1040s, to this contact on the client. So how do you do this, right? So we have add a task automation. When this task is completed, send email to client. So let's select the email. So here we already have some email templates. So it could be really anything like, let's see, this is create financial reports. So financial reports finished, right? So preview. I'm going to select that one, and then I can choose which contact on the client to send it to, right? And what's
Hi,
cool is,
Shahram, you
yep.
have 1 minute left actually. The next session
Okay.
is in 2 minutes.
All right. And basically, sorry guys, I ran over, but basically you can have all that here. You can customize the email. You have placeholders. You can switch between the templates. It's really great. And then save, right? And then now the client's automatically going to get this email and you can preview what it's going to look like, right? But the client will automatically get the email when this is. So like I completed that. Now the client just got updated. You can use this to send surveys to your compliance after the work is completed to see how well you're doing. You can use this to just send meeting links to schedule meetings. You can use it to update them on the progress of work. There's so much you can do. Now, there's one other thing I wanted to mention, which is update, like automating like work creation and folder creation. So we have a Zapier integration, and there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do. So in Zapier, you can see like So like, let's say when an ignition proposal was signed, or like an anchor, or someone completes a form on Google, you can automatically create that client in Financial Sense. Or once that client's created in Financial Sense, you can have it automatically create the client folder in Google Drive, Dropbox, SharePoint, OneDrive, or in your document management systems. Or you can have it add that client to all like your MailChimp or HubSpot or your newsletter system. So I didn't get the chance to talk about Zapier, but there's a lot of amazing automations. We have these cool templates that you can use if you're interested in it. But go to the website if you're interested in Financial Sense, talk to our sales team, talk to our support team if you're a current customer, and they can help you set these up if you're interested in like these types of automations. Like when a Financial Sense signs a proposal, create the client in our system, create the folders, create the work. The work is coming. That's not available yet, but there's so much you can do. I'm sorry I ran a little late. I'm going to stop my share. It was great having the chance to chat with you guys. I wish I could have covered more of this, but that's on me. I got caught up and carried away. But I've enjoyed this presentation with you guys, and enjoy the next speaker. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. See, hey, Workflow Bash. Don't forget. Better see you guys there. It's going to be fun.